Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Doc here from North America. It is Tuesday. A little surprised watching the cable drop off the way it did. Oh, let me move that off the screen and let's get the currencies back up there. I was thinking about making that trade. That's where I was at. Let's see, and let me refresh this. There we go. Let's get back to there. There we are. All right, and there it is. That is the Swiss. You can see it moving up again, the dollar being firm, and it's even putting pressure on the cable, which is a little surprising, but that's the way it rolls. Buy dollars, sell the world. And you can see it over here on J4X, the same situation, strength. You can see here the ADI is trying to break down, and then now we are observing the MACD. Watching that performance with it. It's the laggard of the two, but it's still a fascinating tool that some of the people here in the Dukascopy webinar watch, and I'm always interested. And I have one friend that likes to trade it all the time, so it's fine with me. If I can help him out to trade it better, that's better for me. As we take a sip of our coffee, indeed. So now, let's get fact check spreadsheet up there. Where is it at? Right there. There we go. And that is the action. We're impressed with the height that this is going. That's the amazing part to me, is that we're up into the 94s. I remember when we watched for months upon months. We can scroll back here on the. Let's do it on the J4X instead, since it's the front page right now. You can see, for months upon months, this product. Hung out. You know what? We have lines drawn on the other one, so we'll go back to that. We'll just leave that right there and just go here with our Chicago quant chart. And you can see these two lines right there. That's what is really needed to be emphasized. And that is that we watched that channel stay that way for a long while in there, all the way back to last summer, last August. And we watched that, and it became a real challenge for it to break the high 89s, 90 area. And when it did, we finally thought, okay, this is something meaningful, and on all that talk of the dollar and its demise, I knew that was going to be some pressure there, but it didn't really have as much life in it as that I thought it would have. I didn't think the dollar. I guess I can take that back. I'm not exactly a major doom and gloom dollar trader. I just see in the quantitative era now. Or the QE area, however you want to describe it, by the central banks now being the buyers of last resort, I know that the dollar is not going to be a demise. They just won't allow it. That's the whole thing. That's why, for us metal traders, I do a lot of different types of products I like to trade. Metals have always been a favorite of mine. And, and I've said many a time on this webinar, if you had told me in 2005 or 2007, what we would, what a scenario would be, say, in 2010 or 2020, that the scenario, in other words, you described a scenario and it just happens to be true. It's exactly what we've seen in 2010 or 2020 or now 2021. And then say, Doc, what do you think? Where should gold be at that point with a scenario like that, And I would be saying in 2005 or 6, 5,000, 8,000, an ounce, something like that. And it would have been my opinion of experience from the metals market, but not knowing that quantitative easing was going to have the power that it has. Never expected the central banks to become players in the markets live during the day and aggressive, to the point where they buy equities. That is, to me, an astonishing thing. And so, to me, when you look at the Swiss here, and you go, wow, Swiss is already back up into the 94s. And that's like, yeah, I mean, dollar is not being sold off like it's secondhand goods. It just isn't. And it's not going to. And mainly probably because of the amount of debt in the world. As much as the United States has incredible amounts of debt, it's a very low ratio to our GDP. Whereas you have like a China, or a Japan that have enormous debt ratios to their GDP that are just astonishing, or they make Greece look like a balanced economy financially. So that's the confusion, and at the same time, when you look at the pairs trades, that's why the dollar is not being thrown into the dustbin. It's going to keep on staying firm. It'll probably come back down into this range, into the 92s and the 91s again. But overall, they're not throwing it away, and they're not going to throw it away, because if they throw that away, there are no currencies out there. The yuan, the Chinese yuan, for all the, I guess, the pomp and prestige that they always lay on top of it, only trades 2% of the currencies in the world. So you can't make that a currency of last resort, the world reserve currency, because no one wants to own it. I mean, if people wanted to own it, they'd be trading 15-20% of it a day, not 2% of it a day. I mean, it's just basic mathematics. Nothing more than that. It's not if I like the Chinese or dislike the Chinese. If the world thought that China was going to be the next world power, they'd be buying that stuff in and out all day long, and the dollar would be crushed. When you look at that dollar ETF or the UUP, let me just look at that right here and put it up on the screen. I just saw it. There it is right there. I mean, it's trading at its, I guess 6-month highs now, right? I mean, that's a 4-month high for sure. That's the last time it was up there. Yeah, November. Last time it was in in that range. Let me just put a line in there so you can see that. We'll scrunch it even. Right there. And let's scrunch that up. Yeah, last time it was there was in November. So it's almost 6 months. November and December, January and February, March, and going into April now. So it's a 5-month high. So if the dollar was going to be thrown away in the dustbin of history, and the yuan is supposedly in the wings, ready to go, they'd be trading 15-20% of it a day right now, because money likes to go where value is. So obviously there's a problem here, and we're not told it by the media. Barely anybody in the financial community will talk about it, but something's wrong. I mean, why isn't the Chinese yuan, trading 15-20% a day? It's trading 1.5-2% a day. So obviously something is wrong there. So that's why Doc is not just a dollar bull. I've always said I reflect these charts Eurocentrically. In other words, I show you charts as if you're not in America. I mean, you should see the reverse look of these charts, making the dollar the main theme. It's irritating at best, And so, to me, I'm not bullish or bearish on the dollar because I'm in America. I'm bullish or bearish on the dollar because I don't see the math telling me that I shouldn't be. That's the problem. And at least it's not the problem for me, because obviously I've been right and the world is wrong. And we have traders come on here and say, yeah, you were bullish on the dollar months ago. When we were telling you that the dollar's just dead now, it's going to die. It's like, well, if it's going to do it, then someone else has to step up in the numbers. We have to see other currency pairs start picking up some volume, and we just don't see that. It's just the math, traders. That's where it always is, where it'll always be here with Doc. It's always the math. Nothing more, nothing less. Because I'm a capitalist pig first. What was it Joe Stalin would say? A good capitalist would sell the rope that he's going to be hung by. So that's what I am. All right, let's jump over to, let's do the cable. Let's go right to the cable. And you can see here, I was a little surprised how the cable is starting to roll over after just 2 days of some strength in here. And I guess that's that weekly, that's what that is. It's the weekly, right down in here. It's that weekly signal. We're not seeing it in a weekly buy. And because we're not seeing it in a weekly buy, there just isn't enough, energy, math, nothing pushing it. Entropy is a natural thing. And at this point in time, as much as I'm always usually a bull in this product, right now it just is not getting the legs that it should have, solely because we're in a weekly downtrend. And as long as we're in that weekly downtrend, starting off in this area here, right up in this area here, ooh, and that we're going to have problems. Every buy is going to be suspicious, and weak. I myself will be saying the same thing. We're going to 140. I always think that. I always think that's where the cable belongs, up in the 140s again. And I've been saying that for a couple of years, and obviously it was just there just no more than a month ago. You can see that right there. It was at 142 and change. So, right there. We got that right there. Right there. There, you can see that there. So, anyhow, that is today's opening song to the world markets. Let's keep rolling along. There's the euro. The euro is just leaking like a rowboat out in the middle of a lake. It just keeps on finding ways to slide down. You can see here the euro has been in a weekly sell since back here, and you can see we've been in a daily sell since right here. So, I mean, the pressure is on this product. And for us old heads who have been trading, I traded Deutschmarks and so forth, and, other products before there was even a European unit. We were hoping there would be a European unit. We want some of that pressure off the dollar to be the world reserve currency. We really do. It only makes our weak politicians find ways to spend money, which is not exactly one of the things we like. We like the idea that more fiscal responsibility. And so being the world reserve currency gives these weak socialist politicians the carte blanche to go out and spend like as if there was no tomorrow. And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of us professional traders and pros felt that we needed a euro unit to maybe you throw the Deutschmark together with the French franc and the Italian lira and and so forth, and you put these all together, and we were hoping that we would have some type of competition, something that would have some legitimate volume to it that big money could go into when it didn't want to be in the dollar. And then our weak-minded politicians, especially these liberal ones, the socialist ones, they see this as you can borrow. They come out with statements like this every day. Well, we just borrow. We're the world reserve currency. We can borrow. It's like we want to take that away from these politicians. We don't want to keep on borrowing. That's why our debt to GDP ratio is as low as it is. It's enormously low compared to the rest of the world. Another sip of breakfast coffee. So, that's where we are. Now we're going to jump over to the Turkish Lira. We have one client over in Chicago Quant, and you can see we have taken out the high, all-time high there, and that's what we've been saying for the last couple of days. One thing is for sure, in a daily buy, over the weekly and over the weekly buy number, we know this thing's going to go to that yellow. We believe our math is telling us it will go to that line up in there. It's going to go somewhere up in there. And what it's going to do is it's going to make the loss from that point, because we were in a weekly sell and a daily sell when this gap occurred. So what happens normally, our math always goes back and finds a way to make money. So here you're in the buy, and here it's taking off and trying to run up into this area there. And that's just a natural thing we've seen occur from Corning Glass to Enron to was it Marvel Comics to, we've seen it happen so many times in so many different products. If our math is in the wrong direction when a calamity occurs and it loses money, what it will do is it will find a way to make it back. It always does. It's a consciousness. It's truly a mathematical consciousness that is reading objects moving on a surface, and it just does. It goes up there with Einstein's spooky numbers at a distance. It is the next generation of physics, probably, and here we use it for finance for the last 40 years. And then when you think about that, and you think, well, that's kind of weird, not really. When you really think about it hard enough, I mean, think about the number one hedge fund in the world that's known. Remember, there's some hedge funds out there that are hidden, and you don't know how well they do. But the number one public hedge fund, Renaissance, run by Jimmy Simon, all mathematicians, all code breakers and topological people. I mean, he doesn't hire finance guys and gals. He brings in mathematicians. And where did Jimmy take over? He took over where the Manhattan Project ended. He took over at Stony Brook. And the scientists, when they weren't building a nuclear weapon back in the 40s, were playing with the stock market. And what did Jimmy do? As a mathematical PhD, he went and took over the physics department so he could get control of that computer. And so it's natural for us math wonks to go play with numbers and money. And that is what's going on there, traders. All right. Anyhow, there it is. There's the Turkish Lira. Watch it climb. All right. Where do we go from here? Let's go look at CAD. Well, CAD will lead us into the oil market there. And so we look at the Canadian against the dollar, and then we go and check out the New Zealand against the Canadian to try to understand the actions of the oil market here. And in this case here, you can see the Canadian is moving up, which means it's losing value against the dollar. And you can see here we've been, which is a little odd here, as we seem to be in this weekly sell from this range here. And it goes down, and then it goes, it's this, obviously this daily buy right here has saved us. The math as usual saves you, and you can see it, the thing has been on a rant on the upside, and so you can't be short, and the only way you can be long is if you're trading the options or the binaries. And that's what we see here going on with the Canadian at the moment there, which also insinuates that the oil should be a little bit weaker this morning. So now what we do is we slide our way over to the NASCAD. Right, where is Mr. and Mrs. NASCAD? Right there. Activate. And you can see here, now this, as it's rising, tells us that oil is firmer. But it's not really, it's pretty much unchanged between the two. But you do see it in the daily buy right here from that point. Unfortunately, it's in a weekly sell. So we would assume that this morning we're looking at oil that's probably sideways to down. So let's go over to the oil contract. And I haven't looked at the oil today at all. And let's see what it's doing. Okay, it's down. Not only is it sideways, but it is down. Yep, exactly. And that's the weakness we expect to see. Huh. Okay, let's refresh that. Sometimes I get a chance to pay attention to it. Sometimes I don't. And in this case here, today, I didn't, take a look. I just let the two currency pairs give us a flavor of what could be happening. And you can see here we are dancing. You can see right here it gets very close to the zero line and trying to get into that weekly sell after, let's go up to, what is that? That's line 5 on the fact check spreadsheet. 18 weeks now in a weekly buy and 2 days in a daily buy. So obviously that's playing itself out and ending because of this movement here. And so that is the action we are seeing there. Now we'll take a look around the energy sector just to get some flavor going. And you can see nat gas or natural gas holding firm, which is incredibly impressive. You can see the weekly has been in a daily sell since this area here. And you can see, and the daily has been in a daily buy since here. So it's been it's kept you safe. It bought in at the lows on the daily, but the weekly just refuses to climb up into the weekly buy there, which is not much of a surprise. Usually this time of year it doesn't do those things. Now let's drift over to Robo Gas, which is the fuel that they use in the automobiles, and we'll see what that's doing. You can see there it tried to get into the sell there yesterday, didn't do too good a job. Now today it's starting to do it. You see that pressure on the product there, but definitely it was very firm there yesterday. And just like oil today, it's trying to sell down. I believe it was in a sell there yesterday. I think that's what it did. Let's just look at that right. Let's widen this out so you can see it better. Yeah, so it closed in a daily sell yesterday, so we can remove that and put it down here. We don't have anybody following it at the moment. Anybody out there an oil trader, think about going to our website and following it so I can pay attention to it more again. And that's the May Robo Gasoline. But look at the weekly. It's been so firm for so long. Look at that. We've been in a buy there. We don't even have it up on the fact check spreadsheet, but we've been in a buy there since the beginning of December. This product has almost doubled. Has it almost doubled now? It's going from 140 to 214. Over that time period. Was that 65? 214? Yeah, so it's like 64 cents. That's 74 cents. I'm sorry, 74 cents. So it's gone up almost a full what's that, 740 pips or something like that, or 7,000. I don't know how you ever want to recalculate this out, but end result is that it's been going up. It's going up. If it doesn't go up, it'll go down. One of the old floor sayings when people would be like querying about something. Why is it up? Because it's not going down. More buyers and sellers. We used to use the most rudimentary ideas and concepts as ways to describe things. We try not to make things too complicated. Life is too complicated already. We don't need to add to it. All right, so that finishes off on the energy sector. And what we're going to do now is we'll drift back over to the currencies, unless someone has a question about something. And right there is the, let's check out the ruble this morning. Ruble's pushed itself into a sell for a couple days, but weekly buy, so you couldn't take the short. And you can see today it's trying to get back up into the daily buy again. So let's give that a refresh or a reload or something like that. There we go. And we'll widen it out so you can see it better. And so they're doing a little buy-in in there. And it's in a weekly buy. So it's been in a weekly buy since back here all the way up to there. So because of that, it's been aggressive. And you got this pop from it there. And you're already in the daily buy there. So that was a good old winner chicken dinner. Happy trails to us. The singing trader here. Let it sing. Let's see. Then let's go over and check out the yen. The yen is holding up very firm in there, and you can see the weekly buy trend is still holding on very nicely. It's been weekly buy since, what did I do? I actually moved the weekly signal, right there. So it's been in the buy since this area here, and now we're in this area here. That's what a weekly trend up is supposed to do. It's supposed to zigzag its way up, and away. And then you can see the daily buy was there. So that was another nice trade there. So another winner chicken dinner. And then let's check out, let's see, where do we go from here? Oh, we've been drifting over to the Zloty. We look at the Zloty and we look at the Mexican peso. We'll jump to Mexican peso first right there. And there's the Mexican peso. We went to a weekly sell there last Friday. You can see the pressure on this product there. And is it really there though? It's not, because that's the end of the week last week, right? No. What do we got? Yeah, that was the end of the week right there. So that's the official. It went into the weekly sell this week in here, and officially got the line on that. So it's barely moved. It's more up than down. It's going the wrong way. And you can see we've been in a daily sell since that day. And so it's not a winner chicken dinner. I mean, it's gone lower, but it has not made any big money out of it. It's just been sideways there. You see the pressure still building, so we might get a nice little drop like one of these type of things over the next 48 hours of trading. Wouldn't surprise me any. By Thursday they find a way to bring it down lower, as long as it stays in the daily sell. Because again, we follow the math first. We don't tell the market what to do; it tells us. And then the Zloty, you can see here, weekly buy and daily buy and so forth. It's very firm in there. And that's the Zloty against the euro. Boy, that should be. They should dump the euro and just have the European Zloty and combine it together and follow the Polish policies and watch the European community grow in money in pockets. In other words, the average worker and person out there would make more money because, without a doubt, the Polish economy is really running hot and steady. It's battling France for #2 industrial nation on the continent, and it's only a third of the size of it. So it's always very impressive to watch that whole thing play out. Douglas, how you doing there this morning? I have a cousin, Douglas. I haven't talked to him in a while. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to put the Brazilian real on this machine, I go over to Dukascopy. I go everywhere. I don't know what the malfunction is. Let's try it over on there one more time because honestly, I would love because we have an ETF, a stock ETF that's a Brazilian ETF that trades really nice with my math, and I want the Brazilian real to be with it. I would love to be able to run the two. And we cannot find the Brazilian real. I hate that. All right, let's see if we can find it one more time. And there is Dukascopy. So if we go like this, and we put in USD, and what is that symbol? What is the symbol for the Brazilian real? Is there a particular symbol that's used? So it's USD, and then I guess what do? We throw a line in there? Do we throw a line? Is it BR? B something. I gotta Google that even. I mean, I really want I would love to follow the Brazilian real. It's a very interesting. I think it's got to be with an R. I think that's what it is. I do remember when I was a kid on the trading floors when I traded currencies that the Brazilian real, I think, was an R. There's the Romanian. There's the ruble. How can we not have a Brazilian real? I just don't understand that. Something's malfunctionish. Yeah, I know. And my American brokers don't have it either. I don't understand that. It's a big economy. I mean, I don't get it. What is that? I mean, they're like the #2 nation in the world that grows soybeans. That alone, you would think that would make the Brazilian real a very active currency. BRZ. Let's see what that does. Thank you. That sounds cool. BRZ. Enter that. See what happens there. It's loading something. The hell's that loading? Why it loaded the euro against the dollar? Huh. All right, let's try it over here again. I can't tell you how many times I've tried putting this in. I mean, I just love the idea of having a Brazilian real. I really do. No, let's not do that. Let's do this. Let's copy this. And let's paste it. Paste the window. And let's see if we can... Let's see which one this is. Okay, this should be down at the bottom now, right there. Okay, so we activate that. And then let's see if we can find that. So we format this. We'll take a shot at it. Doc likes the idea of doing that. USD. Where's the keyboard? That's the wrong keyboard. That's what makes that crazier. Okay. And let's see. USD. And then, what is that? A space and a period maybe? Or just a period? Period. And BRZ. Let's see what that does. And it doesn't bring up anything. Let me try R. I could have sworn when I was a kid, the teller rate had it as R something. There's the ruble. Throw an E in there. No, it doesn't do it either. I just don't get it. I mean, it really has me perplexed always. Spell it all out. Real. No. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. Let's try it there. No, nothing pops up. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, it's like the Chinese yuan. You know, it's in name only. The product itself barely ever trades. You know, it's really weird for supposedly an economy. It's the like 2/3 of the size of the United States. How nobody trades it, I have no idea. None of that makes any sense to me. Someone's going to have to explain that to me one day. How can an economy that's supposed to be the second biggest economy in the world, no one wants to trade their currency? Something is really wrong with that. So anyway, sorry about that, Douglas. BRZ. I know they have a... let me Google this. Let me just go give it a quick Google. And let me go to Yahoo Finance and see if we can find something there too. Let me try Yahoo Finance. Let's see, Yahoo Finance right there. Copy. Let's see what that does. Wonder if it goes the reverse way. There's like, you know, it's Brazil and the dollar, not dollar and the Brazil. Because even, you know, Yahoo Finance doesn't even have it. I don't understand that. Someone's got to be trading that currency. There's just is it possible that the Brazilian currency is tied to the dollar? Is that what the problem is? That could be a possibility. Paste. Let's see what that says. Brazilian real. I'm just going to Google Brazilian real. What do we got here? There's a futures on it. 6LF. Euro Brazil. There's a Euro Brazilian real. Let's try that. The EURBRL. I don't know what that malfunction's all about. Let's try that again. Why is it that? I mean, that has my curiosity enormously up. There it is right there. Activate. Let's try that. Activate. And maybe we can get that on J4X too. Maybe that's why I tried to throw us back to the euro. So if we go EUR slash, what is that? BRL. No, wrong keyboard. EUR / BRL. No, that's so weird. Let's see if I can get it over here. There are two countries, China and Brazil. They are not small countries. I don't understand why their currency is not just like right in our face any given moment in the day. BRL. Let's see what that says now. See, is it in there? No, I don't see it there either. BRL. Ah, isn't that the weirdest thing? But they do have a futures contract, which is really weird. Let's put that up there. Let's see what the futures contract looks like. They actually have a futures contract. Now, how can they have a futures contract when they don't have the cash to translate it? Add symbol, and it's 6L. That didn't do it. 6L. Maybe they discontinued it. Let's see, Brazilian real futures. Brazilian real futures. They have them. Brazil futures. Let's see. Equals F. Let's try this, okay? Let's try this. Equals F. Let's see what that does. No, that didn't do it either. Could be one of the great mysteries. What's going on with, is it Atlantis? Is Brazil and China like Atlantis? The mystical land of Atlantis? I don't know. I don't get it. Sometimes some of this stuff doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's fascinating as all get out. Anyway, all right, I surrender. I give up. BRZ. Is there an ETF to the BRZ? Let's try that. Let's try that. Was it B's? What did you say it was? It was BRZ. Okay, let's see what BRZ comes up in Yahoo Finance. All right, Yahoo Finance again. This is one that is a mystery to me every time. Every time. BRZ. Bearing Lithium, Black Rock, Brazil Bull 2 times. It sounds like there's a BRZU, and we had a client following it, and boy, was that accurate! I'll tell you, it was really accurate. But there is no currency. I don't understand how we cannot trade a currency. How can a country that big not be able to trade its currency? I have no idea. Let's see, $1 you can buy 5.7 reals. That I know. You know, it makes sense. I just don't understand how none of the brokers carry it. Not even Dukascopy. You know, I don't understand that. Not even in a euro unit against a Brazil. That's definitely one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. That goes right up there with the Chinese yuan, where no one trades it. It's strange. Very strange. Still waiting for them to put out their gold oil Chinese yuan. Supposedly, remember that years ago? I kept on saying it'll never happen. Everybody's like, oh yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Nah, they're not going to do it. They're not even going to be remotely do it. Hey, Robin, how you doing? I can't believe that. We can never find the Brazilian real. And you know what? Robin, if you can, go up on to CME Group. See if you can. They say there's a futures contract for it. See if you can find the symbol for that on the Brazilian real. I remember there being you floor broked over in the currencies there too. Didn't they have a Brazilian real back there where you ring the bell when you want somebody to come trade something? You know, there was like about a dozen currencies. If you wanted to trade a currency, they would trade it. On the Chicago Merc trading floor back in the old days, you had trading pits like for the Deutschmark and the yen and the British pound and the Canadian dollar, and it started to get a little bit thinner then, an Aussie, Australian dollar, and then it got really thin. You know. Investing.com has it. Okay. No, okay. Well, let's take a look at that. Investing.com. See, let me put it on here. We'll put it up on a screen so you can see it. Investing.com. Okay. See how that rolls. All right, there we go. And that, and that. There we go. And that. Investing.com. Investment. Yeah, there used to be, remember there was that one place you stood in the back against the wall in the corner there, and they had you could ring a bell or something if you wanted to trade some odd currency that nobody seems to follow. That's the only place I remember stuff like that. Okay, here it is. Investment.com. Reload site. Now we can't get investment.com? What is that? Investing.com. Okay, investing.com. Let's try that again. Investing, not investments. Investing. Get rid of those T's. Investing.com. There we go. Investing.com. My futures. And then I guess we can pop up the Brazilian on that, right? Let's take a look at that. I'm going to put this up on the screen with you guys. Just to be able to see the real. If we can figure out how to put it in there. Let's see, charts. And then where can we put a symbol and look up something? Where's Forex? Is there a Forex maybe? There must be. How do you get there from there? Not there, no. Never saw it. Okay. Let's see. There must be a way of getting to Forex. Oh, there it is. They're up top here. News, insights, markets, markets, charts, Forex charts. There we go. And let's see. There's a grouping right there, but I don't see any Brazilian thing there. And I don't know. It's another enigma. Doc's having enigmas on Tuesday. It's Enigma Tuesday. Doc doesn't know. Do you know where your currency is? Where's your currency? All right. We're going to drift away from that. Sorry about that, Douglas. Can't give you any opinion because we don't have any math to match anything up to anything. My God, it's like some type of ghost story. Legendary. Watch out for the Brazilian real. I know there is a such thing. We have somebody on here that does a webinar from Brazil. There must be a way of getting that Brazilian real somehow. Just not here. I don't know why. Let's see. Where are we going from here? So we just finished off the energies. We're looking at. Did we look at the peso? I think we did look at the peso. Let's just double check the peso. Right there. Yeah, peso's moving down a little bit, but going nowhere. Okay. But it's look at it. It hasn't done anything. I mean, went into the sell here, and that's all it does is bang up against it. All right, let's drift over to the metals complex. Now let's do that. We'll go to gold first. Oh, gotta go to that chart right there. And see what the gold is up to. There's gold, just slowly grinding down. Been in a weekly sell for a while from back up in here, and it's down and over in here. And we thought that they'd take out this low of the 1673. What's today's low here? Today's low is 1676. So we're still about $3 away of taking it out still. Then we drift over to the Silverado. There's silver, and same situation, going down and being in a weekly sell since like the cows came home. Back here somewhere, excuse me. See right there. And then let's see. Let's take a look at the platinum. See what the platinum is up to. There's April platinum. April platinum is holding up fairly well, trading at 1173. And what is gold trading at? Let's see, where's gold at the moment? Let's put it up on Dukascopy. This way we can look at both of them at the same time. And there is the spot gold trading at 1685. So it's trading now at 512. I guess that's what it is. 16 minus that as 505. I think is that right? 1173 minus there is 513. So the spread is at 513 at the moment. Hassan, how are you doing? We were perplexed by the Brazilian real. We're trying to find it, and no one has anywhere to go for it. Nothing in the States here, and nothing in Europe. And I don't understand it. I mean, I know they're the second largest producer of soybeans. They're almost equal with the United States. You would think that alone would make their currency a very active product. One of the enigmas of modern trading. Why don't we see the Brazilian real? All right. Try typing something else in because they blocked you out on whatever you were trying to type in. Let's see. We're looking at the metals complex now, and you can see that it's rolling over. And then let's just take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Copper. Same thing here. Copper's rolling over too. It's been trying to drift down. You know, it did get into the weekly sell on Friday from here, and we went into the daily sell. I guess right there. Something's wrong with that. What's wrong with that function there? I just saved it earlier today, where it just. I am totally perplexed now. I know that we had it in a sell. I mean, I think I sent a chart out on it. Let me just double check. I'm going to minimize this and put that chart up. I'm almost dead sure I sent a chart out today that said it was minus. How can it not be minus? right there. There we go. Okay, so that's where it's at. It's minus there. Okay. So it's trying to break down. It's trying. We had the red dot yesterday in that, so that is what it is. Oh, no, you can't see. There it is. Yeah, that's the one we sent out. So there's pressure on that. So the metals complex is feeling pressure everywhere. Let's get the chart back up again. So right there. Interesting. All right, now, so you can see all four metals are finding a way to roll over. Obviously, gold and the worst, and silver the second worst, and platinum relatively chill, and copper just joining into the party. Hassan, try to write whatever it is in a cryptic way. Maybe we'll be able to read it so that the Dukascopy algorithm doesn't pick it up. All right, from there, what we do is we try to slip down and check out like Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency. I don't even think of it as a currency anymore. It's just an alternate investment tool. And there it is right there. It went into the sell there yesterday. Let's give it a refresh. Something looks a little funky monkey with it right now, but that's all right. We'll just take it right there. So it went into the sell yesterday with it up like that. And then smack-a-doodle today. They're taking it back down again. And we're in a weekly buy, unfortunately, so you can't really be short. You just, when it gave us that sell signal here, you couldn't be short. You had to be flat. And then when it goes into the buy here, you could be long for this move up in here, but you can't be short here. You just got to be out. So with that, what we do is we go over to the stock indices, because we kind of think of the cryptos as more of a alternate asset more than it is a currency. I mean, we call them cryptocurrencies, but I see it more as a new form of asset away from the central banks. So here's the, let's give this a refresh. And as you can see here, it's trying to roll over. This is the Nasdaq 100, or on Dukascopy, we call that the, what do we call that? We call that the Tech 100. Let's put that up on there like that. There we go. And that's the Tech 100. And then this thing, it's kind of bouncing around, but it really hasn't put the pressure into it as much as we would have thought so far. It's pretty sanguine. I would like to use that French word, sanguine. It reminds me of that. And then you can see the S&P 500 again weak today, but again very firm in a weekly buy and daily buy and all that stuff. Whereas you can see the Tech 100, go back to that real quick, was battling its way into a buy in here because it was in a sell from here, and it's in a weekly sell since back in here. Back in here, it's been in a weekly sell, but it's kind of like the way we look at the Canadian. It's not really going anywhere. It just seems to be in that particular phase of itself. And then let's take a look at the Russell. Russell's seeing the pain here. Matter of fact, today you can see it's putting the pressure on it more, trying to find its way into the sell. You can see the way they smack-a-doodled the weekly number. Look at that thing. Smack-a-doodle. It looks like it wants to go down into these 2000s area, 2050 or something. And then the grand, I heard somebody, I know traders, we talk about different word expressions from the trading floors of old. And one of them was paint the tape. And so that meant, remember the ticker tape? The ticker tape? In other words, the tape of the market where you saw the last prices, and you could see old movies or like The Addams Family where, Gomez was reading the market. He had a ticker tape at home, and he was reading the market. And so then what would happen is that the product would, they would call that the tape. You would see last transactions. And so what they had an expression, it was referred to as painting the tape. What that meant is that they were basically putting in trades that didn't have a lot of, let's say a lot of basis to them. Now, if someone came in and bought thousands of shares of something, They bought it because they bought it, not because it had some good news to it. And so they were trying to paint the tape, and they were trying to scare the weak hands out, kind of like the way Reddit and Robinhood did with the shorts. They painted the tape to shake out the shorts in GameStop and a few other things like AMC and all. And that they call that painting the tape. And so what we see here is that the Dow Jones Industrial Average, in many ways, the one index that everybody knows of every day, you hear about it every day. Dow Jones Industrial Average, Dow Jones Industrial Average, Dow 30, blah, 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 blah. And so you hear that all the time. And so they're saying that what's happening is that they're painting the tape. See how this is at all-time highs. That's all-time highs right there. So today, at one point, it was at all-time highs. It's always constantly trading up there, and then the news at night goes, closed at all-time highs. But then you look at the Nasdaq or the Tech 100, and you can see that the all-time high there is back in February. About 1,000 points higher. Is it 1,000 points higher? The high was, it's about 1,000 points higher. See, the high was 13,850, and right now we're trading at basically 12,880. So, I mean, they painted the tape, okay? And so there's another old expression from Wall Street, and that is, it's called when the generals lead and the soldiers don't follow, the generals get slaughtered. Okay, and that's a little bit more complicated. I'm going to say it again because it's like, what? What is he saying? I don't understand. Okay, so what we used to say is this. A lot of the stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average used to be called the generals because it was General Motors and General Electric and General Tire and General Foods and who else was in there? There was a bunch of them in there. There were all these general companies, General this, General that. And so they had this expression that when the generals led, in other words, the General Food, General Motors, General Tire, Goodyear Tire or General Tire, when they led, and the soldiers, which was like the smaller companies like a Ford, or in the case of General Motors, or General Foods might have been like, say, Nabisco, a smaller company, okay, and they would say that when the generals lead and the rest of the marketplace, the other thousands of shares, don't go with it, then sooner or later they sell it all down. It all gets sold down. So the old expression is, I'm going to say it again now, when the generals lead and the soldiers don't follow, the generals get slaughtered. Okay? Dead. Exactly. And so I heard someone this morning saying that they just constantly paint the tape with the Dow Jones Industrial Average because they're trying to paint the tape. I mean, it's nothing more than that. They're trying to make it look like the markets are doing great. In this case here, there's your all-time high in the Russell 2000, and you can see where it's at there. It's like 250 points lower for a 2000 index. That's over 10% move down. So this morning, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was at all-time highs. Woo! Yesterday it closed at all-time highs. So in the news, it was, Dow Jones Industrial Average closes all-time highs. But the generals are not doing that. Now let's go over and look at the last of the four. And that's the S&P 500. S&P 500 is like it's almost equal with the Dow. It has the top stocks in it are the generals basically. All right, and so you can see here yesterday. It was very close to closing at all-time highs. It was just literally, the close here of all-time high of 3,963, and yesterday's close was 3,958.88. Okay, boy, someone likes to rhyme those numbers, don't they? And you can see today it's off it a little bit, but it's pretty much kissing the all-time highs. So they're painting the tape. And that's something to be concerned about. That's like me trying to figure out why we can't see the Brazilian real, or why China, being the second largest economy in the world, no one wants to trade their currency. So those things are always a warning light in a trader's head. It's like, wait a minute, how can they be the second biggest economy if no one wants to trade them? Something's wrong there. So in other words, are the numbers right or are the numbers wrong? You know, I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Now, in the Brazilian real situation, that I don't understand at all. Because, I mean, everybody's currency is floating around. I mean, there might even be like a Deutschmark that's floating around that we don't even know about. You can trade somewhere. We have no idea why we don't see these things, but that is what it is, traders. I think today's title should be something like the dollar versus the Chinese yuan and the Brazilian real, because we've talked about them, and I don't understand why we can't get them up on a screen anywhere. It's the strangest thing. Has me totally perplexed. Anyway, traders, that is what it is. Hope I was entertaining enough and informative enough. And we'll go march along like we always do. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you tomorrow. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Oh, hold on a second. We just have to stop this. I have to inform you all that we have Easter holidays already this week. Thus, Friday, April 2nd and Monday, April 5th are marked as red days, so no one will be in the office. Okay. Now, I was wondering about that. I mean, we're closed here on Friday, but we're open on Monday. So I can do a Monday. I can do Monday. We are open here. There we go. All right. Anyway, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our cyber friends and traders. Ta-ta for now.